to say hello. My name is Troy Jenkins. I'll be kind of in the background today, just moving the slides and everything. We're so excited that everyone is going to be joining us today, and thankful for the program deans to walk us through this information about our graduate studies. So just a little bit of housekeeping here with the chat. We totally want to hear your questions all through the presentation today. So feel free to write that in there. Just make sure that you have your chat set to everyone so that everyone can have the benefit of seeing what your question is. And we will answer those as we can. Also, one more thing, Amanda and I are in the admissions department. If you've already started your application or plan to for our summer term, those of you who have joined us today, we have passed the priority registration deadline, but if you are going to join us for our summer term, we will be waiving your late registration fee. So just a little bit of a bonus there. Thank you everyone for being here, and I will turn it over to the deans.
Lori, do you want to go for it?
We need to, go ahead and change the slide. Sorry, I thought you were going to do that. Hi there, I am Lori Holdren, the Dean of General Education here at ACHS. And I really want to welcome you to our seminar today. So you can move the slide. So what we're going to be going over is the overview of our graduate offerings. We're going to be going over some frequently asked questions and the answers to them. Then we're going to go into each of the specialty areas, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about those that'll help you make a decision in which direction you're going to go. And we will have time throughout as well as at the end for questions and answers. So don't hesitate to post in the chat box there, and the moderators will let us know when your questions come up, and we'll decide when the best point to go over them will be. So next slide. So our graduate offerings are many. You can earn graduate certificates, which are between 12 and 15 credits. We have master's degree, which are 36 credits. And we're just getting ready this fall to launch a new doctorate program, which is 60 credits. So the areas of our specialties are aromatherapy, herbal medicine, holistic nutrition, and integrative health. So next slide. So we're going to go on now and go through some frequently asked questions that we often get from students. And if we don't cover the question that you might be thinking of, we will certainly get to it at some point during this webinar. So who can take our graduate programs? If you have a bachelor's degree from a higher institution, accredited by any agency recognized by the U.S. Department of Education, you can join our graduate programs. If your prior field of study doesn't relate to the areas that you're going to be studying, that doesn't matter. You can still go into these. We teach them from a level that any MUD can access them. Our enrollment process involves submitting undergraduate transcripts from each of the institutions that you've attended and one letter of recommendation. And there are opportunities to have transfer credit from previous graduate work if you've done that. Next slide. So when is a graduate program better choice than an undergraduate one? Amanda Lattin's going to answer this question for us.
Okay, so we really feel that if you've already completed a bachelor's degree, that there's many opportunities and doors you can open by pursuing a graduate program, especially if you want to be working in academia. To teach at many institutions, you need to have one degree level higher than the degree program that you'll be teaching in. So obtaining a master's degree can oftentimes qualify you to teach classes at community colleges, for example, or other undergraduate institutions. And for many people, that's an interest that they have in doing. But having a graduate degree or a graduate level certificate also gives you a lot of credibility in other areas where you may want to work professionally, such as in research or in publications. So you may want to be qualified to be a part of different companies or institutions that work on research in holistic health and work on publishing in holistic health. There's a lot of opportunity to do online authoring for those types of publications. You might want to work in product development, be a part of a team, or perhaps work on developing your own products. And having graduate level studies is really going to shore you up with your confidence in the science and technical information and research that you would want to be able to access and utilize to support you in product development. Also, if you want to be another type of educator, perhaps you don't want to work in academia, but you may want to work for a nonprofit to support a specific population or a specific cause, or you want to work in other types of community educators. There's a lot of opportunities like that now opening up in holistic health, for example, in hospice care or elder care, memory care, or other types of community areas where you might be coming in and training staff or just being on staff and helping to provide education to family members. So in some areas, for example, of study in nutrition, there's also opportunity for state licensing where you may need to have that graduate level degree or certificate in order to qualify to get your state licensing. Of course, if you're already a healthcare practitioner and you have completed your bachelor's degree, then completing a master's level of study or degree program may provide you more opportunities in your job that you currently already have. We have a lot of nurses, for example, in my department that come in aromatherapy, and they're moving up in their job positions in nursing in the institutions or hospital systems they work in. And they may have been asked to help develop an aromatherapy program for their hospital or system, and they need to have that graduate level work to be able to move up in those promotions and take on these new tasks that they have been given the opportunity to work on. Having a graduate level certificate or degree program also gives you a lot of professional credibility in general. So if you want to go out and start building relationships with other practitioners and clinics and businesses in your community and in your area, being able to say that you have a master's degree or a graduate level certificate in that area where you're working really does give you a lot of credibility. Even if you're not talking to them on person and they're just looking at your LinkedIn profile or your resume that you send out, or even in your email signature, it really does stand out to have that graduate level credential if you're able to do it. You can go to the next slide. Lori?
So what are the differences between the undergraduate and graduate programs? So our graduate programs are for all specialty areas. They give a more in-depth exploration of research and research methods. Most of you will start, if you take our programs, with the Research 501 course, which gets you right into learning how to write an integrative literature review, and you get to investigate one of the areas that you have questions about. And you learn how to write so that as you go through the courses, you can learn more and use our library. We have extended clinical applications. The lab kits are more extensive in our graduate programs that you get with your courses. You'll do case studies. You'll be doing deeper investigation of scientific principles and modalities. You're going to be having more practice with research, case study writing, presentations, and in the master's programs, you'll do a capstone project for those master's degree, the MS degrees. And when you, if you were to become part of our doctorate program, when that gets started, you would actually write a dissertation.
I do want to say here that many people are concerned that they haven't completed undergraduate studies in the area that they're coming to study in a graduate program at ACHS, for example, herbal medicine or aromatherapy or holistic nutrition. And that's okay. You don't have to have undergraduate training in these areas to be able to successfully complete an ACHS graduate program. Our graduate programs are designed to start at the beginning for these modalities, just like our undergraduate programs would. So you're not going to miss out on any aromatherapy or herbal training or nutrition training. However, the focus of these classes, as Lori just discussed, is slightly different. So you will be doing graduate level work, but it doesn't require for you to have had previous training in these areas. So we don't want anybody to worry about that. That's a very common question that we get. And we know that most people would not have done undergraduate level coursework in these areas, because these are new types of degree programs that are coming out. Of course, we're starting to see more of them, which is fabulous because that's our passion here. But we don't want anybody to be concerned that they needed to have an undergraduate degree in these areas to be successful in these programs.
So what is the difference between a graduate certificate and a master's degree? Well, besides the credit difference, the graduate students, if you are taking specialized training, if you are in that area already, a graduate certificate might be a better option. It's actually ideal for working professionals. It's ideal for students that may not be ready for a full master's program. It is actually shorter, as I mentioned earlier on the first slide. What's nice about it is you could start with a graduate certificate and all of those courses stack into the master's degree program. So even if you did want to say, well, hey, can I handle these graduate classes? You could start out with a certificate and those classes will still roll into a full master's degree program. So it gives you a lot more flexibility and it lets you see how you will be in this kind of environment. So what are graduate studies like at ACHS? Well, one of the things we like to share is that there's great interaction with peers. We have Zooms, live Zooms each week that students can attend. We have discussion boards where you interact with students and learn about what their area of specialty is and what they're interested in and get to share yours. You get exposure to the latest research in the field. We have opportunities to learn from the experts. All of our faculty members practice in the field. They are experts. They share with you their personal experiences and tie to what you're learning in the coursework. We have live interaction sessions with faculty and peers. We often have webinars like the one you're attending now. There are hands-on practical lab kits with courses that have essential oils, herbs, and tinctures in them. You actually get to practice doing things like that. And we do have the capstone project where you get to be mentored by one of the field deans that are in that field. So you get a lot of support as you're going through. So even though it is an online environment, you are still very connected with your faculty and peers. Next slide. So can I use prior education and experience towards course credit? Probably. It depends on what courses you've taken, but when you come in, your transcripts from any other programs for your master's program will get reviewed for potential credit. We also have a challenge exam option if you've had professional experience or studies that you feel will qualify you to sit and take a challenge exam for that particular area. It can save you time and money. And if you go to our website and even just type in the search engine transfer credit or challenge exams, you could read a lot more about those. But those are opportunities for you to bring in your experience and prior coursework into your graduate program here. Next slide. So if you're wondering how graduates are supported once you get your degree, we have an alumni and career services team, which is led by Felicia Royce. She's our director, and she can help students with job searching, resources and support. She can work on resumes and cover letters, interview preparation. There's career coaching and business planning, and we also offer several workshops and webinars throughout the year to help our graduates as they continue on in their careers. So next slide. So what we're going to be doing now is going over each of the areas of specialty. You're going to have presentations on those from our program deans. We have aromatherapy, herbal medicine, holistic nutrition, and integrative health. And we're going to start out now with aromatherapy and Amanda Latin, who's our dean.
Hello, everyone. So nice to meet you. I'm excited to talk to you about our aromatherapy programs. If we could go to the next slide. So what is aromatherapy? This is a very exciting modality to study. It's quite cutting edge, even though it's extremely old. Humans have been using scent and essential oil bearing plants for millennia, for spiritual practices, for health support, and for beautification. So aromatherapy is the intentional, safe use of plant essential oils to promote health and wellness. This includes all types of applications of essential oils, predominantly inhalation of essential oils. We create topical applications such as, baths or ointments, creams, and in other parts of the world, internal use of essential oils is also included in aromatherapy, not as much in the United States. We do touch on that in our program, so students understand some of the safety considerations involved in that. But internal use of essential oils typically is another specialty that students need to study after graduating from a training program such as this one. But we do look at all the different types of applications of essential oils in aromatherapy. So aromatherapists really play a very special role in integrative health. Aromatherapy is closer to pharmacy than herbal medicine because the plant essential oils are so concentrated, and the way that they're used is different. It's quite non-invasive. So you find aromatherapy in many clinical settings, such as hospitals, and as I talked about before, hospice care or memory care facilities. It's being incorporated into holistic nursing practice, but it's also used by acupuncturists, chiropractors, naturopathic doctors, massage therapists, estheticians. So you really find aromatherapy being used by many different types of healthcare professionals. But aromatherapy is also used by aromatherapists, and you can also have a practice built around aromatherapy work with clients. So it can be a standalone modality, or it can be integrated with other modalities. And we're just seeing more and more research published every year on aromatherapy. We're learning more and more about how these essential oils can be used to support holistic health. We could go to the next slide. Okay, so these are our aromatherapy graduate programs. So I see a question here in the Q&A. Does the challenge exam relate to NAHA's level 3 aromatherapy? So Mary, NAHA's level 3 requires that the student complete an aromatherapy program that meets the level 3 requirements. So if you could complete challenge exams towards your classes in one of our graduate aromatherapy programs. If you want to be a level 3 member of NAHA, you would need to complete our Master of Science in Aromatherapy program. That is our graduate program that meets that requirement. And you are more than welcome to take challenge exams towards that program, or have transfer credit if you have transfer credit from other graduate programs. But then after graduating for NAHA level 3, you need to be in your practice for a year, and then you can submit for that clinical membership. But you can apply for a professional membership immediately after graduating. So yes, it can work towards a program that would qualify you for that membership. So we have these 3 areas of master's degrees which have aromatherapy training built into them. We have our Master of Science in Integrative Health Sciences with aromatherapy specialization. By the way, you're going to see that that degree program also has herbal medicine specializations and holistic nutrition specializations. So you'll hear all of us talk about that. We have our Master of Science in Aromatherapy, which we are quite proud of. We were the first accredited master's degree program in aromatherapy in the United States, and we are currently only one of 2. So this is quite the thing to have on your CV, because it's going to make you very competitive in this area. We also have our graduate certificate in aromatherapy, and this is designed more for people who already have probably graduate education, or they're just starting their graduate education journey and they're not quite ready to commit to the Masters of Science in Aromatherapy. For example, someone I had take graduate certificate in aromatherapy was already a PhD nurse researcher. She was conducting research on sleep, and one of the studies they were going to do was going to be involving aromatherapy. So she did not want to get another Master's of Science because she already had her PhD, but she did want to get her aromatherapy training. So the graduate certificate in aromatherapy was a good fit for her. Other students I've had, this is the first time they're taking graduate courses. They weren't sure if they were ready to commit to the Master's of Science. So they started with the graduate certificate to see if it was a good fit for them. And then those credits can stack towards a master's degree. So there are different options for when someone might want to start with the graduate certificate. But if you have not had any aromatherapy training before and you do want to get your professional memberships, I really do recommend that you complete one of the degree programs, because that's going to give you all the coursework you need to become a registered aromatherapist, and to get your professional membership. So you can start with the certificate and work your way up, certainly. Okay, we can go to the next slide.
And
So what
Amanda,
are our,
we had-
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to bring your attention. There's a really good question from a student who took a undergraduate aromatherapy program with us back in the day, and at that time also became an RA, but now over time has let that lapse. And what would be the next best step at this point with the difference in educational requirements? Would your recommendations still
I
be?
see here that she, I don't know which degree program she completed, but I see that she took.
Aroma 201 would have been the undergraduate studies before we had master's programs.
So her program may still qualify for her to sit for the RA exam. If it's lapsed, then you just would need to apply to resit for the exam, and would have to see if you still meet the education requirements. If not, then you could come back to us and we can see if you can test out of some classes and perhaps get you into a program that would then requalify you for that.
Thank you.
So our aromatherapy classes at ACHS are very interactive. We have course supply kits for every aromatherapy class. We complete practical labs throughout the classes. We also complete case studies in many classes. So you get to practice creating different aromatherapy formulas, developing support plans for yourself, for friends, family members, and also work on hypothetical client case studies. So you really get a well-rounded experience with essential oils where you're studying the technical information, you're experiencing the essential oils, and you're practicing using them. All of our faculty are experts at what they do, and they come from different backgrounds. So we have people who are doctorates of acupuncture, people who work in clinical nutrition and aromatherapy, master estheticians. Myself, I'm a clinical herbalist and aromatherapist with like 17 years of clinical experience. So, and we also have amazing faculty members that were Ukrainian trained pharmacists who've done amazing research on botanicals. So you really get to have the full gamut of perspective and experience. It would be really challenging to find a place where you could have more experience to support you in your training. So it's very hands-on, but it's also science-based, evidence-based aromatherapy. We have wonderful essential oil chemistry classes where you get to compare essential oils with individual constituents and learn about how essential oils are extracted and analyzed. It's a very thorough and very interesting training in aromatherapy. We can go to the next slide. These are the 3 areas where you can earn credentials and have professional opportunities coming out of our aromatherapy programs. Depending on your goals, you need to work with your admissions advisor to find out which program is a good fit for you. Of course, you can also get in touch with me and I can help answer questions, but big idea goals are sitting for the aromatherapy registration exam to earn your legal credential of being a registered aromatherapist, which is not a license, but it is a legal credential. You can also work towards professional or clinical memberships with the Alliance of International Aromatherapists or the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy. This is a fantastic goal to have because you will then have professional support post-graduation. You'll have all your CE hours paid for under your membership. This also gives you opportunities to get professional liability insurance for your practice or your business if you want to start working on your own. And it's really going to give you a support network of other professionals to interact with. So I can't recommend that goal enough. And like I said, we've had people from all different sectors take and use these credentials to meet their goals. We can go to the next slide. Actually, we're not covering this in this presentation. I apologize, but this is just an example of one of our graduates from a master's in aromatherapy program who has done very well starting her own business, The Wild Nurturer. She's developed a product line based on the training that she received in our program and is now doing e-commerce with that. She's also working in her community. She is a yoga instructor and trainer, and so she's combining her yoga offerings with her aromatherapy offerings. So it's really just helped her expand what she's already doing. We can go to our next slide. Wonderful. So now I'd like to introduce to you our Dean of Herbal Medicine, Dr. Glenn Nagel. I will pass the baton.
All right, thank you, Amanda. Well, herbal medicine is a fascinating study. Historically, herbal medicine kind of sits in the sweet spot. Aromatherapy and nutrition are kind of, I think, on the sides, and herbal medicine in the middle. But you know, it's so time honored that almost everybody that comes to our program had historical with family, you know, cultural, the use of herbs in food, and medicine is very time honored. You know, thousands of years of use, and so everybody that's interested in studying herbal medicine has some background, and then we introduce them into the science of herbal medicine because there's a huge folklore. You know, my grandmother used ginger for this, but you know, there's science behind that. And so the time art and traditions meet scientific traditions, and that's what we really focus on with herbal medicine. You know, the clinical herbal medicine students in our programs often focus on developing practices, supporting clients and using herbal medicine. It's wellness. It's a huge growing area. One of the things we saw through the pandemic is a massive growth in herbal medicine. All the people that I know in the herbal industry, sales and the products and the demand. I mean, elderberry went from an obscure herb to the #1 selling herb in the US. And so this is the time to really think about getting more advanced study in a field, because having a degree and a graduate degree in herbal medicine is very rare. Many herbalists are self-taught, and there's nothing wrong with being self-taught. But now we can apply the distance learning aspects that we have with hands-on labs and become accredited, and have a master's degree in herbal medicine. Next slide, please. So the herbal courses here are comprehensive, hands-on as well as academic. And so we talked about having a great ability to have these kits we send out. Here's a picture of a kit, Herb 101. They contain between 10 and 25 herbs. There's tea bags. They're all part of our hands-on practical experience. We have an apothecary shop that does an extensive sourcing of herbs and essential oil that we provide to you that are highest quality, organic, lab tested. It's really important that when students have an herb that we're studying, that we all have the same herb at the highest quality. One of the things that herbal medicine gets critiqued about is that the products are all different. Well, we focus and source things so that all our students have the same kits. And it also leads you to create your own materia medica. You start having herbs that you might use for yourself and on your family. We have an extensive group of teachers. All our teachers are experienced herbalists, naturopathic doctors, acupuncturists that have degrees in herbal medicine. Most have an extensive clinical background as well as a practical background, like myself. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm an herbalist. I have had clinical experience. I've worked in the industry. And so we try to bring all the skills that our field have and bring them forward for you. Next slide, please. Well, what are the opportunities? Well, there's a tremendous amount of opportunities in the wellness now and the consulting. Like Amanda Latin had said that, you know, people are looking for clients or a specialty training so that they can bring this into their workplace. The research and the education, you know, students have blogs, they develop their own companies, they become influencers, and then the natural product industry. I've been involved for many years in the natural product industry. The companies are growing and they're looking for qualified workers that have experience, have knowledge in this area. We have our one in the North America, the registered herbalist from the American Herbalist Guild. That's our accrediting national body. You can become a registered herbalist. Our programs give you the academic qualifications to apply. You can also become a student member, and there's many great resources and discounts that you can get working with the American Herbalist Guild. Next slide. So what are our graduate programs? Well, they much mirror the aromatherapy program. So we have a graduate certificate. which is 15 credits, which I believe is about 4 classes. And that's really focused just on herbal medicine. And so somebody might have a pharmacy background and they want to get more about herbal medicine. This would be the certificate that they could take. Then the Master of Science of Integrative Health, that can be blended with nutrition, aromatherapy, and herbal medicine. So you can actually pick and choose electives in that. That's a 36 credit. And then maybe the most popular in the graduate level is the Master of Science in Herbal Medicine degree, and that's 36 credits. And that has things like anatomy and physiology, pathology. Then it has really core competency classes, especially the most advanced graduate classes in herbal safety and toxicology and pharmacognosy, which is the study of herbal medicines from the drugs that plants make, the chemistry of plants. And so that degree is really appropriate for somebody that wants to create herbalism in their practice that they already have another license for, or that they want to go into research. And there's so many fields that can be useful with that Master of Herbal Medicines degree. Next slide. All right, Dr. Janet Ludwig, Holistic Nutrition, it's your turn.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Nagel. It's so wonderful to be here and to talk to you about holistic nutrition. And I'm probably going to go quickly through this because I also want to talk about integrative health, as well as our programs are set up very similar. In other words, the aromatherapy and the herbal medicine that you've already talked about, the standards are all basically the same. But what is holistic nutrition? We encompass the whole aspect of the person. It's the age-old philosophy that it's the whole life approach. We all eat, and we do take into holistic nutrition not only the science that is new, but also the philosophy that's been around for thousands of years. Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, ancestral foods, raw foods, cleansing, vegetarianism, or anti-inflammatory. All of these we are studying at the scientific level, as well as how it relates to the whole person. And we emphasize biochemical individuality because everybody's different. I know person sitting next to you is different than you are. So we are learning it at all different aspects of it. Next slide, please. The nutrition curriculum, we of course have a basis of the scientific information, nutrition, anatomy, physiology, but then we also go into counseling because of the fact that you're going to be advising relative to how to improve the lifestyle, in addition to the diet. As with the other courses, they are taught by experienced educators. We have the naturopathic doctors, masters, doctorates, registered dietitians. We also have MDs that are working in this area. So you will get the whole aspect of applying the holistic nutrition to health and wellness. And the class is very similar to the herbal medicine and the aromatherapy. They do contain practical kits, which can give you skills, tools regarding safety and food preparation, balanced meals, and the health restoring nutrients. We, of course, also review so much that you will be exposed to in the aromatherapy and the herbal medicine courses because it's all under one umbrella. Next slide, please. And as with, again, aromatherapy and herbal medicine, you can have certifications, licenses, credentials, and opportunities. We are linked with the holistic organization that is federal, the National Association of Nutrition Professionals, as well as the coaching organization of the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And you due upon graduation, you can qualify and apply for taking the exam for the certified clinical nutritionist. Now, again, all of this is so important based upon what state you're in, what you can do as far as nutrition consulting. And our degrees will qualify you for definitely sitting for these type of certifications. Our graduates, they are employed as wellness coaches, healthcare industries, even sports teams. What is it? The Warriors are winning. They must have a holistic nutritionist who's advising on their winning performance. Medical centers, especially comprehensive care centers, the fact that nutrition is involved in cancer is being implemented, and that will give you a leg up to get into these organizations. Of course, naturopathic offices, and even fitness and wellness centers. All of these will be, are using the expertise that you will be learning. And of course, health and wellness consultant, all of this is based upon being an individual entrepreneur or working with other groups. Next slide, please. Our programs at the ACHS, you of course have the similar to the other programs. We have the graduate certificate in holistic nutrition. That is your beginning step into the master program. It's stackable for you to then enter into the Master of Science in Holistic Nutrition. And then we are so excited to be announcing the beginning of the Doctor of Science in Integrative Health. That will be new in the fall. And once you complete your master's, you can roll right into your Doctor of Science and in any of these fields. In other words, the Doctor of Science has specialties within aromatherapy, herbal medicine, as well as holistic nutrition. So please consider all of those. Next slide, please. All right, I get to roll right into integrative health now, because this is summing it all up. All of what we've already talked about is within integrative health. Next slide, please. And this diagram over here is where you are going to be central to not only conventional medicine, in other words, allopathic medicine. You will be learning about the complementary aspect of medicine with aromatherapy, with nutrition, with herbal medicine. And then, of course, you're going to learn a great deal about self-care. All of those, you being in the center here, allows you to go into many of these aspects in healthcare and wellness. Basically, and I'll just go through these bullet points very quickly. Integrative health, it incorporates modern science, new findings with the holistic health modalities and wellness principles. You will be the conduit between, as an integrative health practitioner, you will provide a bridge between conventional medicine and holistic health. How many of you have gone to normal allopathic medicine and somebody, your practitioner, wants you to have all of these tests done? You will have the information to know what these other tests mean, how it can be applied in these other aspects of it. So you will be developing a practical, individualized wellness strategy for optimal health at whole body health, either at the individual level or at a community or an educational level. Next slide, please. All right, courses, they're very similar to what you've already talked about. In integrative health, you will be doing not only learning about health and disease, but also counseling, psychology, and incorporating this into advising clients, as shown in this slide. Again, as with the other two programs, you will have practical kits and labs. Coaching, you will be recording your coaching sessions, and your professor and your peers will be commenting on it and giving you advice on it. Again, our courses are taught by trained educators, which I've already discussed. Next slide, please. And as indicated previously by the other two deans, you would have, as an integrative health, you would be working as a health coach, consultant or educator, writing or speaking. That's so important. And we will give you those skills to go out and do presentations, to write, to be published, which is so important to increase your credentials. You will be working as an allied healthcare professionals alongside MDs, alongside other professionals. Now, I am an advocate for community-based and governmental integrative healthcare advisory. Our government works very hard to keep us all healthy. We need trained people to go in there and advising them. And of course, being a health consultant, so many of our graduates work with nonprofit organizations advising for socioeconomically depressed areas and advising where there are food deserts. Next slide, please. This is a summary of our programs. We have the master's degrees, which are 36 credits, integrative health and wellness, which you can have a specialty in the aromatherapy, herbal medicine, or holistic nutrition. You have the health and wellness master degree. You also have the graduate certificates. And then you have, of course, I'm so excited about this, the 60 credit Doctor of Science in integrative health, which you can specialize in either nutrition, aromatherapy, or herbal medicine. I think I've talked enough. I think that might be my last slide. Let me see if we have another slide coming up. That's our last one. All right.
So we'll hand it off now to our admissions team to close us out here.
Hey, everyone. Thank you, program chairs, deans. All this information has been amazing. We're starting to have some questions come in, but I want to make sure that we quickly touch base a little bit on just the overall admissions process and how our team is here to be your resource and advocate. So our admissions process is a little bit different in that although you have a traditional application through the college, we're going to need transcripts and such. We work with each student individually, literally step by step, to coach you towards the best program to fit your goals. I know we just had a question about from one student about her educational background. She already has some background in herbal medicine. Your individual admissions advisor is going to be that fantastic point of contact to really delve into what your individual goals are, both personally and professionally, what you're looking to achieve, and help navigate you to that best program to fit those goals. But we also help with all the administrative stuff. We want to make the process as smooth as possible and a positive experience as you're moving towards this exciting time of coming back to school. So we're truly here for you and available. So I always tell my students, for example, never hesitate to reach out. We want to take care of you and help you, jumpstart that passion or career change or movement you're trying to make in the direction you're wanting to go. Next slide, please. So you may see some names that are familiar if you've already been working with the admissions office. But our team, again, you can reach out to anybody. If you're not sure who to reach out to, anybody can help you. That's also the beauty of a smaller school, is everyone works together to support you. But you can always call in the main campus. You can email us directly, call. You can also send a quick email to admissions@achs.edu. If you have a busy schedule, you can go around the website and schedule a 10 to 30-minute appointment for a time that works best for you as well. Again, we're here to support you, and we want to make sure all those channels of communication are open to do so. Next
Amanda,
slide.
there's one question I'd love to address.
Yeah.
Angela asked, am I too old to get started? Absolutely not. We have students ranging of all ages. So please know that age is not an issue. Know that we're not like every other institution. When I say that we are student-centered and we really focus on supporting the students, some practical examples of that are, let's say you're getting towards the end of your semester, you've completed a good portion of your work, but you just need a little bit more time to finish out your semester. We work with students to get them an incomplete rather than a failing grade, so they have a little bit more time to complete their grades. When it comes to quizzes, we view quizzes as knowledge building quizzes. So students are allowed to take quizzes multiple times so that they can learn the information that they need to learn. So we are incredibly supportive of our students. Do not let age be a factor in deterring you from enrolling. We're an incredibly supportive institution. We have plenty of students of all ages here. So
yeah, and I want to build on that. The diversity in our classrooms is amazing. Different ages, different backgrounds, different educational career paths. And it just adds to the diversity and the quality of the classroom environment, the discussion boards that we have. It's really exciting. Students making complete changes in their career paths and interests, to students working in the field and everything in between. So it's really fantastic. And I know, especially at the graduate level, the classes tend to be smaller than the undergraduate coursework or courses. So I find a lot of the graduate students end up sharing with me that they'll be reaching out to each other within the classes, setting up their own study groups, connecting with their professors and building those professional relationships with their professors as well as each other. I've had students share with me, they became so close with other students in their programs and classes. They ended up becoming like actual best friends, flying out, meeting each other. So it's really, really cool. So don't ever let your age, sway you. And then the other piece I wanted to build on what Tiffany shared is, if there is something very unique in terms of a health concern, or anything that you might want to talk to our ADA coordinator about, your advisors can get you in touch with Carrie, our ADA advisor, and talk to you about our access policy and about accommodations. So we have that department and all of that support available as well. So it's really fantastic. Let's see, I want to make sure we have all the questions around admissions. I know we had some questions about the doctorates, and I just want to clarify for all of our students who are interested in going on with their professional studies. Yes, you will need your master's degree to apply to the doctorates program. And your advisors can assist with that and also discuss any possible prerequisite requirements if your background is more in the arts side of things, to set you up for success as well at the doctorates level. So we'll be working with you on that really closely. Let's see.
Amanda, let me add to that, because I want to emphasize that whatever master's you have, if it is such as in accounting, that still does apply. And we will work with you to make sure that you are in the correct program relative to that. So that's perfect. Thank you. I want to emphasize that.
And I know Amanda and Glenn, we had a sort of a question, a little bit separate from admissions, but I didn't want to miss it before we go. A student asked, is the usual distillation method of extracting essential oils, does it change the potency of minor constituents within the essential oil, or will herbal infusions and oils get around this possible degradation? It's in our Q&A box if you want to take a look.
So when you steam distill plant material, to produce an essential oil, you're capturing a very specific fraction of the plant's constituents. And each botanical is extracted in the correct method to not degrade the constituents that you're trying to capture. In some plants like chamomile, we actually make new constituents like chamazulene, which is produced during the distillation process, which is why determine chamomile essential oil is blue, for example. Essential oils can oxidize over time, depending on how they're stored. So storage is a big component on preserving an essential oil. And you learn about that in your classes. So it does not degrade minor constituents. If the extraction is done correctly, in fact, you get many, many trace constituents that are present in very small quantities. That's why essential oils are so complex. I'll let Dr. Nagel speak to herbal extracts, but when you extract an herb into an oil, you're also still extracting the fat solvent constituents. So you might get some additional constituents than what you would get from a distilled essential oil. And you might not get all the essential oil constituents because they might not carry out into the carrier oil. So it really just depends, in my opinion, on what it is you're trying to achieve therapeutically or scent-wise. Also, carrier oils can oxidize. So, you still have to look at storage and preservatives. Tinctures, alcohol extracts, I'll let Dr. Nagel speak to that. That's a whole different beast. And you're looking at a totally different constituent profile, and you use them for different things. And they would have a very small amount of essential oil constituents. So that was my response to that answer.
Thank you, Amanda.
I think for herbal extracts, the thing you have to remember that it's an extract. So it's not complete as the whole plant. It gets what the solvent will pull out. So we focus on teas, we focus on oils and tinctures, and they all have a different ability to extract water soluble and alcohol and oil soluble components. And so one of the things you often see in marketing is they like full spectrum extracts. Well, there's no such thing, because once you make an extract, you eliminated something. You've concentrated or simplified it. And so generally we work with almost all the herbs in your kits are dried herbs, because that is the most complete way. You mostly remove only the water. And so that leaves you all the constituents. And then we focus on extraction methods depending what we're trying to extract. If you want flavor, terpenes, you need high alcohol tincture. If you want polysaccharides from mushrooms and other fibrous plants, you want water-based. And so we do all that in our labs and the training, and you'll get really good experience with it.
And this is a great opportunity to show that some students have so many multi-interests. It is not uncommon for someone to say, earn their master's degree in aromatherapy and come back and earn a graduate certificate in herbal medicine, for example. So the graduate certificates are a great way to add to the credential or credentials you already have or have earned as you build your studies, or go on to your doctorates program with us to incorporate those additional modalities. So it's really exciting. Can we go to the next slide real quick? So I really quickly also want to share, we still have classes coming up for our summer term, begin on May 8th. We are continuing continuous enrollment college. So being online, our students are able to go to school year round, and that puts students in a position to graduate much sooner than a traditional school. So our classes that start on May 8th are a full 15 weeks. So you can get a head start before September. And again, if anyone's still interested in jumping into classes that start on May 8th, today, by attending, we'll be able to waive your registration fee because we're a few weeks past that deadline, but we still have seats open. And then we have classes coming up at the end of June as well for students that may need a little bit more time pulling different documents together. But again, don't forget, admissions is here to help you with the whole process, including ordering transcripts, determining and securing funding, and ultimately helping you get started in school. So if anyone else has any other questions, I would love to chat. And I also want to share that, reach out to us. We're here for you, and I can get you in touch with all the program chairs as well today. If there's a question we can't answer, so don't be shy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tiffany, did you have anything left to share with us?
There's one more question about how our degrees are accredited, if you want to speak to
Yeah.
that. In the Q&A box.
Sure. I might have missed that question. Let me see if I can pull it up. How are your degrees accredited? So someone can add our accreditation information link to the chat, but we are accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Council, referred to as DEAC. We actually just recently went through our reaccreditation process in February, and we're happy to report that we had a very successful reaccreditation visit. And so in the link, you can read all about all of our different accreditations and authorizations for each individual state.
Yeah, that's really important. Our degrees are recognized across the United States, as well as our accreditors recognized by the Department of Education. So, you know, our students are earning recognized, incredible degrees, graduate degrees, and doctorates coming up, which is really important, you know, to credibility and working professionally in the field. So I appreciate that question a lot. Awesome.